along here, and crazy to think we are already into the start of yet another SEC baseball season. Basketball going strong. Football will be here before we know it. But, man, I'm so looking forward to this baseball season across the SEC. Some new faces, some big-time names coming into the conference. One of those guys join us right now. He is head coach of the Texas A&M Aggies, coming over from years of great success over at TCU. Coach Jim Schlossnagle joins us now. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Well, let's start here, Coach. Years and years of tremendous success at TCU, 20 years in coaching, I think 5 trips to Omaha with TCU. Texas A&M, I know you talked about it in your press conference when you took the job, but why now? Why was this job the right time at the right moment?
Yeah, I think obviously 18 years at TCU was amazing, and 5 trips to the College World Series. I feel like that, definitely left Fort Worth better than I found it, and that's not because of me, but it was because of great players and assistant coaches and a phenomenal commitment from a great university. Both of my children still go to school there. So I have and will forever have incredible fondness for TCU. But for me, both personally and professionally, at 51 years old, I just felt like it was a time personally where I, wanted a little bit of a life change. And professionally, it was, I've always been attracted by I hate to say the building of something because Texas A&M's baseball program is already in a really great position. Rob Childress did a phenomenal job here, 13 straight trips to the NCAA tournament. Coach Johnson and Coach Chandler before him, but I guess it would be building on something and the opportunity to compete, not just in the best baseball conference, but the best division of the best baseball conference in the country in the SEC West. And to do that in the state of Texas, 2 hours and 15 minutes from my children in Fort Worth, and at a university that is just as committed as you can be to winning at the highest level, doing it the right way. And I really had no idea the power and the strength of Aggie Land and, 510,000 former students. So it was just I have a saying that I try to live by sometimes is if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room. And certainly I did leave something on the table at TCU. We never won a national title, or at least during my time, but I'm sure, that program is going to continue to succeed. And, our job now is to build on the past and get Texas A&M back to Omaha and playing, winning the final game.
What has it been like so far, getting situated in the new job and just getting accustomed to everything with the new, the facilities are top notch and the ballpark obviously is outstanding, but what's it been like kind of getting, settled in with everything? I know you guys had fall ball to kind of get an early look on how this team's going to look like and all that, but what's it been like for you making that adjustment?
It's been great. It's been, very, it's been a lot of work. There's no, when you do something like this, the first thing you got to do is hire a staff, and then you have to, create and build and maintain a culture that allows people to have success. And then you start recruiting talent, getting it in here. And we did that first in the transfer portal in the summer and spent a lot of time on that, which is a whole different topic. And then, these days in college athletics, especially baseball, when you take a job, you're not just one recruiting class behind, you're 2 and 3 recruiting classes behind. So, just attacking all of that. And, but we were able to attract a great staff. Those are the guys that deserve the bulk of the credit for anything we do. And we just getting them here, getting their families here, and then getting the team back on campus and then getting into fall practice and everybody creating relationships, building a bond, teaching how we like to do things, whether it be how we take care of the locker rooms or how we do a bunt defense or a first and third defense or a cut and a relay, and that kind of stuff, evaluating talent. So it's really been, drinking out of a fire hose until we got to the holidays. And then everybody had a chance to kind of address their personal situations. I was able to move into a house. I'm still living out of some boxes, but that's okay. now we're preparing for the season and getting ready to attack that and see what direction we head.
Touch a little bit on your staff, Coach, because I know you talked about assembling a great one, and a guy I know from his time at LSU, Nolan Cain, one of the best recruiters in the country. Obviously, some transition there at the LSU staff, so you're able to pull him away. But what does a guy like Nolan Cain mean to your staff? Because man, he's a guy who's helped assemble #1 recruiting classes at LSU, and I know he's going to help you there in College Station.
Yeah, I mean, obviously recruiting is the lifeblood of any program in any sport, really any profession. You have to, a leader's #1 job is to recruit and develop talent, along with building the culture. And Nolan is at the forefront of that for us. And he's a tireless worker. He's a phenomenal human being. He's got a great family. His wife is just, she was a college athlete at LSU, so she gets it, which is super important. He's got built-in relationships, not just in this region of the country, including the state of Texas, but all over the United States with summer coaches and scouts and advisors, agents, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of stakeholders in kids' decisions these days, and he's got a lot of great relationships with them. But the thing he doesn't get credit for is he's a really good coach. I mean, a really good baseball person. He's coached third base for the last 4, 5, 6 years in Alex Box Stadium for LSU in the College World Series, and so coach catchers. He's been a part of coaching pitching, obviously been a part of base running as a third base coach. So he's a really good baseball guy. Sometimes in our sport, the recruiting aspect which is important, but at the end of the day, you can't just recruit him. You got to be able to coach him too. And he's really good at that and got a great demeanor. And we're very honored to have him in Aggieland.
Continue our conversation with Coach Jim Schlossnagle. And Coach, I know a lot of coaches, when they come to a new place, they throw out things like, look, this is going to take some time. Rome wasn't built in a day. You guys are losing a lot from last year's team. Will Frizzell, obviously the big name that everybody remembers, so fantastic of a career in the SEC. But talk a little bit about this team. You mentioned the transfer portal is going to be a lot of new faces, but some familiar faces from last year, some good building blocks that will be able to help this team this season. But just touch a little bit on this, how this roster is going to look this year.
Yeah, I mean, certainly Rome wasn't built in a day, but at the same time, like you said, the most impatient person in this entire equation is me. So I don't have any patience for hanging around, waiting and hoping. And if you do that in any conference, but especially this league, you're going to get bloodied real quick. So we inherited a group of guys that are super hungry. Start at shortstop. I mean, there's never been a good baseball team without a good catcher and without a good shortstop. And obviously, pitching is paramount in anything. But you can have a really good pitching staff, and if you have a bad catcher and a bad shortstop, then you're really going to struggle. And we inherited an awesome shortstop, Kalai Harrison, played every day as a freshman in the Southeastern Conference, and so he's bigger, stronger, certainly experienced. And that's huge. And guys like Logan Britt, Austin Boast, Trevor Werner, Taylor Smith played a fair amount last year on this club. So, you'd like to think everybody gets a little bit better. Austin Boast, I think, is the only returning 300 hitter on the team, hit 11 home runs. So we're super excited about him. But Kalai Harrison, right there in the middle of the field is just a massive building block for our team. And then in the transfer portal, we were able to get, already one of my top 5 human beings I've ever coached, and just all first team all Pac-12 catcher in Troy Claunch, and keeping him healthy and getting him out there and managing a program, managing a team, managing a pitching staff. That's a big part of it. So, we can talk about a lot of different players, but right now, the 2 guys that really on a good baseball team that are going to help us become the best version that we could possibly be is Kalai Harrison and Troy Claunch. So,
Coach, obviously in the Big 12, you got to coach in some really cool environments, but how much are you looking forward to coaching in some of these iconic places week in and week out in the SEC when you talk about Alex Box Stadium, Swayze Field, Dudy Noble, Baum Walker? I mean, just some of the great environments that are going to be packed and loud and hostile environments. But I got to thank you as a coach. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I know you're up to the challenge and the task of going into some of these great environments.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun, so you have to actually go do it. Yeah, there's no doubt about it, right? And it's way more fun to roll into those places with elite pitching and that kind of thing, which we're currently developing and recruiting. But yeah, that was the attraction. I asked, I had the opportunity to go to, another place in this conference several years ago or a couple years ago, and I was looking for some advice, and I spoke with Ray Tanner, the athletic director at South Carolina, who left North Carolina State, where he was super successful. That's when I knew him best, to go be the coach at South Carolina. And I asked him why he left North Carolina State to go to South Carolina. And he said, I just wanted to say before I finished coaching that I had coached in the American League East. Right. And that's what he compared, the SEC to. So, yeah, that's when you turn on television and you think of elite college baseball, those are the places you think of. And Bluebell Park and Olsen Field is and should be a part of that. So those places are awesome, and they're great facilities and great fan bases. But Texas A&M should be as good, if not better, than all those places. So our plans are to build a ballpark or renovate a ballpark here to get our seating somewhere between 10, 12, and 15,000 people. We're the largest school. We have 70,000 students. We're 70 miles from Houston. We're, within 2.5 or 3 hours of about, I don't know how many, 25 million people between DFW, Austin, San Antonio, Houston. So there's no reason that a place like Texas A&M shouldn't be drawing that many people. And number one, we have to build a ballpark that's capable of holding it. And number two, we have to put a team on the field that everybody wants to see. And so we will get there. But to answer your question, definitely looking forward to those environments and experiences. Those are great life experiences, and that's why you come to Texas A&M is to be a part of that. No disrespect to any other league, but I've coached in most of them from the East Coast, South, and all the way on the West Coast, and there's nothing like this. This is as big league as it gets in college baseball.
To that point, Coach, a lot of the preseason rankings have come out the last couple of weeks, and I'm seeing a lot of these teams. I mean, the SEC with over half the top 10 is SEC teams. I mean, when you look at your schedule and you see ranked team, is it kind of the thing where you got to just take it game by game, series by series? And I mean, you can't just, because you can get yourself overwhelmed just kind of looking at the whole schedule and how tough it is, right?
Yeah, no question. I mean, and I haven't been through it. Obviously, I hear all the stories. I haven't been through it. We at TCU or other schools I've coached, we've played these teams, but a lot of times it's a neutral environment, or it's in a postseason, or a College World Series, Super Regional, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, what you have to be able to do, it's just baseball. It's never about the best team. It's only about the team that plays better on that day, and that's what we have to focus on. And it's still baseball. But there's no doubt. I mean, you definitely can't get too high or too low, because this game is going to eat you up and humble you, especially in this league. So we'll take them one at a time, and that sounds coachy, but that's exactly what you have to do, and stay positive and know that it's never about what happens to you. It's only about how you react to it, and we'll be prepared and we'll be ready to go.
February 18th, Texas A&M hosts Fordham, and you guys will get the baseball season underway. Coach, best of luck to you there in Aggie Land, and thanks so much for taking some time with us.
You got it, Chris. Thanks for having me, and gig 'em.
Absolutely. Gig 'em there for Coach Jim Schlossnagle, and really appreciate him for taking some time out with us.